Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a little get ready with me. I get asked to do this quite often and my last one was I think close to a year ago. So it's time to kind of revamp this because a few things have changed. So we are currently in quarantine, so I really don't know why I'm getting ready, but sometimes when you're bored, getting ready is the only thing to do, and it also helps you feel better when you're in a slump. So I'm gonna start off by doing my makeup and then we're gonna do my hair. So one of the #1 questions I get asked all the time is which foundation do I use? I've lately been using Milani, so this is it. You can get it at Target or Ulta. It's called the Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation Concealer. I love it because I feel like it has really good coverage and it has a really good consistency. I've actually already put one layer on, but I'm gonna do a little bit more and show you guys how I do it. This shade is 02, which is natural, but I actually have it in, oh my gosh, like 3 other shades. I'm crazy. So I have it in 6, 7, and 4. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and I just use whichever shade I feel like I'm closest to. It usually depends on if I have a spray tan or not. I do not have a spray tan right now, so I am using 2. And sometimes I will mix some together if I need like a little bit darker or a little bit lighter. And then when I am a little bit lighter, I mix this with the Tarte face tape, and this is in the color 12N, which is Fair Natural. So this is actually a lot lighter. So if I'm feeling a little more pale, I'll mix these two together, which I think is what I'm gonna do today because, like I said, I do not have a spray tan right now. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I like to apply my foundation with a beauty blender. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of this on first, and I'm just gonna kind of pounce it all over so I distribute that lighter color all around. Because honestly, there's nothing worse than when you have a foundation that's too dark for you and then like your face and your neck are dark and nothing else is. So even though this #2 is light, it's still a little darker than my own skin, and I don't want it to look too crazy or orange. So I'm mixing in this lighter color so that it's not gonna be too noticeable. And the reason I love using a beauty blender is because I feel like it really gets the product in there and then you don't have brush strokes on your face. I feel like that happens to me quite often when I use a brush. And also I have really dry skin and I feel like this actually helps moisturize my skin a little bit because you get it wet, and I just feel like it distributes the product better. So now I'm gonna put the Milani one on, and I'm just gonna do the same thing where I distribute it all around. Just kind of pouncing it in. I also feel like a beauty blender makes it go quicker for some reason. Maybe it's just because I'm used to using it, but I feel like it's a faster process. You do have to be careful around your nose because sometimes the beauty blender is hard to get in like the little crevices. So sometimes I will take a foundation brush and just kind of like work it in around my nose so that there's no disconnect. All right, then what I'll do is sometimes I'll take a little foundation and just go down onto my neck a little bit. I don't like to put a ton of foundation on my neck just because then it transfers onto my clothes a little easier and it's kind of annoying. So what I've been doing lately, I'll show you guys, is at nighttime, I have been using these face drops. Ulta Beauty Glow by Morning for Face. So this is that. And I mix it with my moisturizer and I actually put it on every night and it gives me like a gradual tan or glow. So when I don't have a spray tan, I do that because then my darker foundations will match, and I also put it on my neck and chest, so then that way I don't have to put a ton of foundation down here because it's already a little darker because of those drops. So if you struggle with that, like matching your face and your neck and chest area, I would definitely recommend that. I forgot to put them on last night, which is why I'm putting more foundation on right here, but usually that's what I do and then I don't have to take it down. Okay, so next step is going to be concealer. So that foundation has a concealer built in, which is why it has such good coverage, but I also like to add in a normal concealer as well, just for extra coverage. So the concealer I have been using lately is the Morphe one. I'm not sure of the exact name, it just says Morphe on here, but I have 2 different colors, and the darker one is 2.45. That's the one that actually matches my foundation color. So this is where I just spot conceal So I just kind of put it wherever I feel like I need it. And then I'm just gonna pass it in with my beauty blender. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the lighter one. This one is 1.15, and I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting with it. So I kind of do like 3 motions under my eyes like this, 3 motions on my forehead, and then 3 on my chin like that. And then I'm just gonna press those in, and this is gonna highlight those areas where your face needs to be more sun-kissed. And then after this, we're gonna contour. Make sure if you're using a beauty blender that it is damp enough. If you use a dry beauty blender, it's not gonna distribute the product in quite as well. And then also if your beauty blender is too wet, then it's just gonna be a mess and it's gonna make your makeup run. So it's all about finding the perfect amount of moisture for your beauty blender. And then sometimes when I do under my eyes, I do what I'm doing here, but then I'll flip it and I'll use the tip, and that'll get a little bit closer to the corner of my eye. And that kind of helps you be able to pounce the product in a little easier. All right, and then when I'm done with that part, I have this 2-ended Morphe brush. It's an E26. It has a smaller end and a bigger end. And sometimes I'll take the small end and just kind of work the foundation in, because even though I used the other side of the beauty blender, around the corners of your eyes, sometimes the product just kind of like stays there. So this kind of just helps distribute it, make sure it looks good. And then we're gonna start contouring. So I recently got this at Ulta. It's called Cheek Stars Reunion Tour. It's from Benefit, and it's like the perfect palette for your face. So it has some contour, bronzers, highlights, blushes, and I've been using this every day since I got it, and I really love it. It comes with this little brush, and this is actually what I've been using to contour. So it has the Hoola bronzer in here. So I'm gonna dip it into Hoola, and then I'm just going to be contouring my face a little bit. So I'm gonna start with my cheeks. I'm gonna do both sides. And honestly, you guys, contouring during pregnancy has saved me, because I feel like I've gained a little bit of weight in my face, especially now in the last few weeks. I have a lot of bloating, so this has made me feel like I haven't gained as much, because when I take it off, I can definitely tell. So I did it around my forehead a little bit, my cheeks, and then I'm gonna do it around my jawline. So I'm just kind of taking it and sweeping it, and this is gonna give me a bit more of a defined jaw, since I am a little swollen right now. And then I go on either side of my nose, and I just kind of do a little bit on each side. Then what I do is I take my foundation brush, and I'm just gonna take circular motions and I start blending it in. I usually start down here around my chin and then just work my way up. Okay, I always feel like blending the cheeks is the hardest part, because you want to blend this so it doesn't look like a harsh line, but you also don't want to get rid of it completely. So I always start at the bottom and use circular motions and just kind of blend upwards so that it pulls your cheek up. So now that the contour is all blended, I'm going to be baking a little bit. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in the shade Vanilla. So I like to shake it around a little bit, and then I dump some of it into the lid. That way I'm not going to be using too much. And then I have another beauty blender, and this one's actually made for powder, so it's a little bit of a different consistency. And I just go ahead and dip it in, and then I'm going to set wherever I highlighted. So I'm going to do my under eyes. And then I like to also do right under my contour. Sometimes I put concealer there too to make it even more defined, but usually just the powder is enough. This is just gonna really help carve out where you did contour and give you like a more defined cheekbone. And then I'll put a little bit wherever I highlighted up here and on my chin as well. And then this is actually gonna sit for a few minutes, and I'm going to do my brows and my eyes while this sits, and then we're gonna finish the face afterwards. I never used to bake ever. I didn't really understand it, but then I started doing it and it's changed everything. So I'm obsessed with it now because I feel like it makes my makeup last longer and it makes everything just look a little more flawless. Okay, next up is brows. I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow. This is in soft brown. And then I have two different brushes here. This one's a Morphe and it's just like an eyebrow brush with like a little spoolie at the end. And then I have this little ghetto brush that's broken. It's just like an eyebrow brush. I think it was a Morphe as well, but this side broke off. But I really love this one, so that's why I've held on to it. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I just dip a little bit of the product in my brush. And then what I do is I start about mid, and I just kind of start carving out the shape that I am wanting. Brows are so hard to me, and I feel like through trial and error, I have learned a lot about them. I used to start right here in the corner, but then I realized that I was distributing too much product too close to the corner and it was making it look harsh. So now what I do is I start in the mid brow, like I said, and I start working at that angle. And then once there's less product on my brush, that's when I come to the front and I start building the front, because then it's gonna be a little more subtle and not as harsh. I honestly cannot wait to get my eyebrows microbladed again after the baby's here, because I got them done about 2 years ago and they faded quite a bit, and it honestly is so nice having that done. And then I'll kind of just like take my spoolie as I go and work with my brows as I drop them on. And then something you can do if you feel like your inner corners are too harsh is you can take your spoolie and kind of blend it out that way. Sorry if you guys hear weird noises. My husband's painting the garage today, and so it's right under me. Okay, so that's one brow done. I'm gonna do the other side and then we're gonna move on to eyes. Okay, so now that my brows are done, what I'm gonna do is mascara. So I have lashes on, so I don't need to do anything to the top, but I am gonna be doing the bottom mascara. This is the Voluminous Superstar X Fiber. I don't know who it's by. I wanna say Maybelline, but it's like a two-sided one and it has fibers in it to make your lashes a little fuller. I'm just gonna be using the number 1 side, and I'm just gonna be doing bottom mascara. And another reason I love baking is if you put mascara on while the bake is still on your under eyes, it makes it a lot easier for the mascara not to transfer onto your skin, because then when you wipe away the powder, everything's good and flawless. So I always put this on with the powder on. All right, you guys, my camera ended up dying, so we have a little bit of a different angle now because I'm going from my phone. So that is all done. I have the mascara on. So now what we're gonna do is wipe away the powder. So I just have this powder brush by BH Cosmetics. Any big fluffy brush will do. And I'm just going to wipe away the powder gently under my eyes. And then the powder that I did on my cheeks. And then what I do on my under eyes after that is I take that little two-sided Morphe brush again, and I just go underneath and make sure I don't have any mascara or any loose powder that got kind of like stuck under my lashes. And this just helps clean everything up. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the rest of the face. So I am taking that same palette right here, the Cheek Stars, and I'm gonna be doing blush. So I am using a Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush, and it's the JH04. It's kind of like an angled blush brush. And I'm gonna dip into Sugar Bomb. It's like a combination of all these different blushes. And I kind of like that because it gives me a little variety instead of just like one blush shade. And I'm just gonna be putting that on the apples of my cheeks. And then I put a little bit on my nose to give me a little color there as well. And that is it. And then I'm gonna be using a Morphe M530, and I'm gonna dip into Cookie, which is the highlighter. And I'm just gonna highlight my cheekbones and then a little bit on my nose as well. And typically, this is what I do every day. With my eyes, since I have lashes on, I don't need to do much other than like the bottom mascara. If I'm doing an event or a video or something where I need to have a little more makeup on, I'll do eyeshadow and eyeliner. And I can do a separate video for like my process with that. But basically for every day, this is what I do. So I'm almost done. Now I'm gonna do lips. Okay. So I have this Maybelline lipstick. It's called Romantic Rose in 450. I'm gonna use this as my base shade. And I really like to layer my lipstick, so next I'm going to be using the NYX, and this is the Soft Matte Lip Cream, and it's in the shade Istanbul. I love the consistency of this. So I'm going to put that on. And then I'm going to do the NYX Butter Gloss. This is my favorite lip gloss, and this is Vanilla Cream Pie. And I'm gonna put that on. So I really like pink lipsticks, and I get asked all the time what I wear, so those three things are pretty much what I wear every day. Okay, and I know I talked about like the neck and chest area before, but another little tip I like to do is I'll take my bronzer, and I use that same little bronzer contour brush, and I'm just gonna take the bronzer all the way down my neck and my chest area, and this is just gonna warm everything up so that it does all match. Okay, so the final step is I'm gonna use the Morphe setting spray. This is the Jeffree Star one. It's the Set and Refresh Mist. This is the original. I have a bunch of them, but this one is so amazing because it smells like strawberries and it's pink, so it's super cute. And I love that it's just a gentle mist like that. You don't have to go in and like spray on your face and get little droplets everywhere. So that's really nice. Okay, I am officially done with my makeup, so now it's on to hair. That makeup routine is what I do pretty much every day, and it honestly only takes me about 15, maybe 20 minutes. And then if I do more in-depth like eye makeup, then it's a little bit longer. But when you get into a routine, it's really nice because you just know what to do and it goes by a lot quicker. All right, so now I'm brushing through my hair. This is what it looks like when I wake up in the morning. Usually my curls stay pretty well, but ever since I've been pregnant, I've been the most restless sleeper, and so I feel like I'm constantly like tossing and turning, and my hair always one side looks like this because of that. So what we're gonna be doing is just adding in some loose waves today. You guys have probably seen me do this a million times, but I figured I would just update you on how I've been doing it lately. The nice thing about having extensions is that it does hold on to curl pretty well. So like I said, my hair usually is pretty good in the morning. It's just lately that it hasn't been, but it usually only takes a few minutes to touch up. So I'm gonna show you guys what I do. Okay, so I usually do one side first. So let's start with the left side since it's kind of a hot mess. So what I'm gonna do is I divide it into sections. So I do a section from right above my ear down. I'm gonna take my flat iron and I'm just gonna kind of run over my hair wherever it's kinked a little awkwardly. This isn't to straighten it or smooth it out completely because I do want to add waves back in, and we do have some of that going on, which is good, but it's really just to make sure that nothing's kind of poking out weird, the ends look okay, and then we're going to go in and curl it. So I'm using the J-Wave. This is the curling iron from Jessi Styles Co. We released this a few months ago and we've gotten such great feedback, so thank you to everyone that has ordered it and loved it. I'm obsessed with this iron. It's a 1 1/4 inch and it's literally the perfect size for pretty much any hair type and any hair length. It will give you really nice curls. It can also do loose waves, so really universal. I'm going to take a section of hair about this thick and I start towards the bottom of the iron and I clamp it in, and I'm just going to start twisting, and I'm opening that barrel just a little bit as I twist down, slowly working my way down, leaving the ends out, and then releasing like this. And I'm just doing that on each piece. And this is what's gonna give me that loose wave because that's really what I like to have. I don't like it when my hair is too curly. I like doing that on my clients. I just don't like doing that on myself for some reason. But to each their own. If you want curlier hair than this, leave it in a little bit longer, and then also don't leave as many ends out. Okay, and then once that section of hair is curled, I'll take my texture spray. This is the Kristen S texture spray. I really like it. And then if I feel like any of the pieces are too curly, I usually run my flat iron over them, or I'll sometimes even recurl a few pieces. After you brush it out and like texturize it, that's usually when you can tell where something needs to be tweaked. Okay, and then I'm gonna move on to the next layer. So this is what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna separate the very top layer away. And do the mids. And then once again, I'm gonna take my flat iron, especially because that piece needs help for sure. And I'm just gonna kind of smooth over everything so we have a good canvas to curl with. Okay, then I'm gonna start with the front of my hair, and I'm just taking my shorter pieces around my face, and I'm gonna be curling those first, doing the same thing. And then I'm gonna work my way back. And I'm honestly just doing that same curl pattern on every single piece. If I'm doing a look that's a little curlier, sometimes I'll rotate my iron and do some away from my face and some towards my face. But with this, I just want like a nice little bend in my hair. So I'm doing them all away from my face. And then I'm gonna do the same thing where I use texture spray and then brush through it. You can see it's just giving me that nice little wavy bend. That's usually where my comfort zone is with curling my own hair. Okay, I took down the top layer and did the same thing, and now this side is all done, so I'm gonna do this side and then show you guys what I do for finishing touches. All right, you guys, so now both sides are curled. What I like to do for finishing touches is I'll take that texture spray and spray it all over just so that everything kind of stays into place. I don't like to use a really harsh or like stronghold hairspray because I do like it a little like looser. So I just mist that over. And then I have some of my Jessi Rosé Hair Shine, and I'm just putting that through the ends. This just keeps everything moisturized. Using an oil on your hair, especially extensions, is really important. And then I'm also using some of the Kenra texturizing taffy. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos. I love it. And I just kind of run it over everything, especially around my hairline, where my hair's a little more fragile, and it just kind of helps keep everything in place. And then I feel like running it through the ends of my curls also helps it kind of stay curled and in place all day as well. Okay, you guys, so I just got dressed. I'm wearing a pair of leggings, which has honestly been what I've lived in this pregnancy. And then I put on this t-shirt that we are getting into Ash and Jay soon. It's going to be launching very soon. And if you guys know me, you know I'm a Queen fanatic. So this is the second Queen graphic tee that we have. It's like a gray, almost olive green color, and then it has the Queen logo. So for our graphic tees, we have a few different options. We do carry Daydreamers. This tee is a Daydreamers, and it's a really, really nice luxury graphic tee brand. And because of that, these ones are a little more expensive, but we also have other options on our website of things that are a little less expensive for graphic tees. We kind of like to carry a combination of everything so that people have choices. But I wanted to show you guys this because it's so comfy and I absolutely love it. A graphic tee and leggings have been my go-to lately, so just wanted to show you guys. All right, if you are still watching this video, good for you, because I'm sure it's gonna be like 25 minutes long. I hope you guys enjoyed this little get ready with me. Makeup and hair is all done, a little bit of my outfit, and now I'm just gonna be doing some work. If you guys would like more videos like this in the future, let me know. Also let me know what kind of videos you would like to see over the next couple of months. I'm obviously still gonna be doing hair stuff, but with the baby coming, I'll be at home more. So if you guys want more lifestyle or chit chat videos or anything like that, just let me know. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.